Hello, everyone, and welcome to another video. Today, I want to address a couple of questions that people have been asking me. What is this tribulation period, and isn't it all the time, or is it the 7 years? So stay with me, and I'll try to cover that. If you like this video, click on the like button. Of course, please subscribe. That helps YouTube get me more viewers. And if you click on the bell icon, you'll be notified when I release a new video. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start our reading from John 16:33. This is from the NIV version. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble or tribulation. But take heart, I have overcome the world. So we will have tribulation daily sometimes. It is not the tribulation time. People have started coining the 7 year period of Daniel as the tribulation period. It's not entirely accurate. The first half really doesn't have a name, although there are plenty of troubles. The second half, though, is called the Great Tribulation, and that's where God's wrath is released. At that point in time, the church will not be here because it's also written that as Christians, we are not subject to God's wrath because we have nothing to be ashamed of. We are sin free because of Jesus, so there is no need for wrath. Doesn't mean we're without sin. Jesus covers it. So anyhow, I'm going to look at Matthew 24:15 to 41. This is the only indication of a time frame that we can pin down. We don't know what happens in the first half of the tribulation. We know some things that have to happen, but we don't know any time frame. We know the rapture is in there at some point, but we don't know when. The first half is only 3.5 years, so it's not a long period of time. So if we're off by up to 3.5 years, that's no big deal. It still puts it imminent. That's the key. So Matthew 24:15. Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing in the holy place, whoever reads, let him understand. And let those in Judea flee to the mountains. Let him who is on the housetop not go down to take anything out of his house. And let who is in the field not go back to get his clothes. But woe to those who are pregnant and to those who are nursing babies in those days. And pray that your flight may not be in the winter or on the Sabbath, for there will be a great tribulation, such as not been since the beginning of the world until this time, nor shall there ever be. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would have survived. But for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. Even after the rapture, there will be those that will be saved. Otherwise, why continue on? In order to have the Antichrist defile the temple, now there has to be a temple. Right now, there is no temple on the Temple Mount. The Dome of the Rock stands not exactly where the temple would be, but covering the main part of it. And the UNESCO Mosque is also up there. The Muslims control the Temple Mount, which was their goal when all this was built up there. We are starting to see peace between Israel and the Arab nations. That is the beginning of the end for this time period that we're looking at. When the final peace comes, they will be allowed to build the temple. It doesn't give us details. It doesn't say they will tear down what's up there. It doesn't say it will be built on exactly the same spot. The temple has been in many places. There's been more than one. And they had the tabernacles early on, the tents. When they're given permission, they could put a tent up overnight. The Temple Institute, which you can look up on Google, already has everything ready. They're just waiting for someone to say it's okay. Let's take a look at what may be coming up next. Like I said, the rapture is imminent, but it's been that way for 2,000 years. So we can always say the rapture could be today, because that's what they said for 2,000 years. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying that. But we don't have a date. We don't know. We're just told to be watching for it. And whenever it happens, it happens. We've also got a war between the North and Israel, the Magog War. They're arming themselves now for it. Russia's helping out. Syria and Turkey and Iran, they're all getting ready to go to war. They're posturing now. Each one's saying things like, if you attack us, we'll attack you. They are ready. The southern Arab nations want peace because they want to be able to go back and have trade and have tourism. Peace would be better. But there are the fanatics. And it's the leaders of the country. It's not the people, unfortunately. There are missionary people in these countries that are saving people. But the leaders are fanatical and they want war. They want Israel destroyed. But that's Satan's wish. So they're just being controlled by him. Pay attention. Watch what's going on. All this is happening in the Middle East. But that's not to say that the rest of the world won't be brought into this. The rapture is worldwide. It's not just there. But the Magog War is localized. The United States really isn't mentioned in the Bible that we can find. Yeah, there's a couple of people that say, well, this might have been it, but it doesn't say specifically. Whereas we do have very specific countries that are mentioned, including Iran, which also goes by the name of Persia. The Antichrist has to be alive today to meet the timeline. Israel was established in 1948. A generation is 70 to 80 years. We are in that 10-year time frame right now, which ends in 2028. It's not very far away. I don't want anybody to miss. You need to be saved. If you're saved, God will protect you. And even if we die during this time frame, we know that, like I said before earlier, God has overcome the world. We will be protected. Not necessarily from death, but we will have eternal life with him later on. So until we meet in the skies, may God bless the elect.